So shall we start, sir?
Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Check it. Good morning. Is it okay now?
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Sir, shall we start, sir? Balaji, sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Thank you, sir.
Happy morning to everyone present here. On behalf of Department MCA, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram, I welcome you all to this 2 weeks International Virtual PDP program on Data Science, a revelation of the modern digital era. Today, we are in day 3 of 2 weeks PDP session on Automatic Analytics and Data Science, that is RPA. May now invite our head of the department, Department of MCA, Vice Principal Admin, College of Science and Humanities, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram, to welcome the gathering.
Thank you, madam. A very warm good morning to one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this day 3 of this 2 weeks online international professional development program organized by Department of Computer Science and Applications, SRM ISC Ramapuram campus, in association with CSA Chennai chapter. First, I would like to express my hearty welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Balaji, project manager and engagement delivery lead, CPS Chennai, with a deep appreciation for accepting our invitation. Thank you, sir. Next, I am very happy to welcome the participants from various institutions, event coordinators, and faculty members. The today's topic is Automatic Analytics and Data Science, that is the RPA. So it's a software technology that makes it easy to build, deploy, and manage software robots that emulate human actions, interacting with digital systems and software. It is used across industries to automate high volume and repetition of tasks. So presently, the telecommunication companies use RPA to configure new services and the associated building systems for new accounts. So our chief guest is very expert in this domain, and I am very sure that we will get new ideas and skills from today's session. So once again, I welcome you all to this wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May now invite Dr. Renuka Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of MCA, to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Balaji, Engagement Delivery Lead and Project Manager, Cognizant Technology Solutions, Chennai.
Thank you, ma'am. A happy morning to all of you. A warm welcome to all of you for this 3rd day program of 2 weeks International Virtual Professional Development Program. Welcome every morning with a smile. Look on the new day as another special gift from your creator. It's another golden opportunity to complete what you were unable to finish yesterday. Today will never happen again. So with this wonderful quote, once again, I welcome you all for this session. I feel very happy to introduce our chief guest of today's session, Mr. M. Balaji, Project Manager and Engagement Delivery Lead, Cognizant Technology Solutions, Chennai. Mr. M. Balaji has around 15 plus years of IT experience in application development, enhancement, and robotic process automation implementation. He has 5 plus years of team management experience, including Scrum and RPA automation delivery. Mr. Balaji has expertise in hands-on experience of RPA tools, Uipath and Blue PSM. Sir has involved in designing, developing, testing, and production deployment of RPA parts and created many solutions for design and process design documents to efficiently handle the process automation. Mr. Balaji sir has excellent analytical programming skill and ability to communicate with all level of management as well as business users. Sir has awarded as Associate of the Year in the 2013 by QE&A practice and applauded by Emerging Leader in QE&A in 2012. He has strong knowledge in C#, .NET and VB scripting, SQL Server. Mr. Balaji sir is a certified software test manager, and it is a pleasure to welcome such a noble personality as our chief guest. So on behalf of all, I welcome you, sir, for today's session. So without any delay, I hand over the session to you, sir. Hope this session will be useful to everyone. Welcome, sir.
Yeah. Thanks, madam. So, good morning, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
You're audible, sir.
Sorry. So, good morning, everyone. So this is Balaji from Cognizant Technologies. So as he said, I got close to 15 years of experience in the software industry. 1 minute, just trying to share this. Okay, let me know if you can able to see my screen.
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Yeah. So thanks for inviting me for this virtual PDP, and thanks to all the organizers from SRM College of Science and Humanities. So I'm here to deliver the topic on automating analytics and data science. So let us start with a simple question. Okay, what do you mean by automation? So just a minute. Okay. So it's what is automation? So as you all know, automation is training the machine to do the manual jobs without any errors, or to fasten the process, to complete the job within the stipulated time with utmost quality. So the quality here means is the software project or the software under development. So anything which is under development, which goes to the production, it should be an error free or defect free. So to do the testing, to do the software testing, we use mainly automation. So automation has got two parts. One is process automation and another one is project automation. So what do you mean by project automation? So project automation is the software which is under development, which is not yet moved to production, or which is not used by the end users. So the software which is under development or the software which is under test will do it automation to make it the faster time to market. Okay. For example, we have a wise savings like all men think alike. So many competitors will think in the same way, and whomever is reaching the market first, they will have more customers. So do that. For example, if I'm developing a process with 15 modules, first we'll develop all the 15 modules individually, and then we'll integrate it, and then at the end of the 13, 14, 15 module completed, we'll do one round of integration testing and one round of system testing. Any defects into it, we'll just share it with the developers to fix it. So any defects fixed, we cannot take that directly and then we move that to production. So any fixed defects will definitely have impact on the other modules. To do that, we do regression testing. So the regression testing means we'll have some 15,000 test cases, out of which we'll pick out the priority 1 and priority 2 test cases that affects the business flow, the major business flow. So out of like 15,000 test cases, we'll have minimum at least 50 to 60% of P1 to P2 test cases, so that it comes around to 7,000 to 8,000 test cases. So like if we have 2 weeks of time, within that we'll not be able to execute all these 15,000 test cases manually and then move this product to production. To do this, we do project automation. So the project automation, we'll use it for Selenium. That is the peak in the market now. That's open source. Selenium has got some limited amount of commands in it, but with the help of Java and Python and with .NET, with other technologies, we can code the project under test and we can do this. But this project under test or the project automation which you are going to do for the software, it may tend to change at any time. So like during the UAT, the business user might change a few requirements, or during the walkthrough to the business analyst, they might change few things into it. So this project automation is not a stable one. So it might tend to change, the requirements tend to change, or the flow tends to change. But all these things we need to accommodate with the project automation. But like when it comes to process automation, so the process automation is something like we are going to automate the process which is already there in production and which is already used by X number of people. So X number of people, I say 15 to 20,000 people in progress. They are using it day in and day out. So like why we are using this process automation? So have you all heard about these terms, project automation and process automation? You might have heard about it. So it is like like this process will do the process automation model. So we call it as robotic process automation. So RPA, in short, is a software technology that makes easy to build, deploy, and manage software bots that emulate human actions. So the mundane task that will be done by the humans on a daily basis, that will be automated with this process automation. So the core requirement or the major item which we focus when we take for this process automation is this process should be stable and this should not undergo any change request. So only for those process only, if we take this automation, then the customer or the end user who wants to do this process automation, investing on us, they will get the better ROI. So the business benefits of this RPA automation, it may also increase the employee satisfaction, engagement, and productivity by removing the mundane tasks from their day works. So it will be like the corporates or the companies which are planning to move to this process automation, their main aim is profit. Okay, how can they get profit out of this existing process? For example, if we have a XYZ bank, okay, which has got almost 1 lakh customers into it. So at the end of the month, for example, I'll say a very simple process. At the end of the month, we need to send the account statement to all the 1 lakh customers to their email. Assume like this is the process. So to send an email to 1 lakh customers, they need minimum 10 to 15,000 of manual resources that will be working around the shifts. So it will be 8-hour shifts. So like 3 shifts they'll be employing it, or it'll be 12-hour shifts. So it'll be 2 shifts they'll be employing it. So they will have huge volume of resources working into it. To reduce the manual work, to reduce the FTE, they started using this process automation. For example, if an XYZ bank needs to send the account statement of my account to my email ID, they need to log into the system, enter my account number, download the statement for the specific month, save it as PDF, and then send it to my email ID. For example, this takes 2 minutes of works. Okay. To do it for 1 lakh customers, this might take at least minimum 2 lakh minutes of efforts. Okay. How will we reduce this? So if we train the bot to do the same, okay, this can be achieved in less than 15 to 30 seconds. So I'll show you a demo. So how the bot works, maybe like you can able to see the speed of the automation. So this can be done in less than 15 to 30 minutes, and that bank can reduce the number of human resources from 15,000 to at least 7,000 to 8,000 over a period of time. So it is like they can reduce 50% of their manual effort, and they can introduce the bots, and if they can employ less than 50 to 100 people to monitor the bots, because these bots, they don't need a break, they will not take leaves, okay, they won't get tired, they work across 24/7 all the time. So in case of if like anything stucks, so any problem with the target application, or if it got failed in between, that manual person can go and stop it and look for the error, and they can restart the bot. So the job is like 15,000 persons which they are going to do, that can be reduced almost to 50% of their manual effort, and they can use the rest of the 50% to move it to their other departments. Okay, and also we can also do it for SAP enabled process, mainframe process, mainframe automation is there, and also we can able to read with the object character recognition. For example, if we have a data in PDF, and with the PDF, if I want to read and I want to update it in the target application, that can be done. Or if I have a manual invoice written, I want to read those manual invoices and I want to update in the target application, that can be done. That can be done with the OCR engine. Okay, I'll tell you that in detail in the forthcoming slides. So in short, RPA means robotic process automation. Each term has got as its own meaning. So like robotic means an entity which has a human capability to mimic the human actions. Okay, they are not actual humans, they can able to mimic the human actions. And for process means the sequence of steps that will make an activity to complete the task. And automation, tasks happens automatically without human intervention. And a typical RPA flow or a typical RPA process identification, it will start like this. So they will go, as I said, they will go with the existing application. So like it will not be, they will not identify all the small items what they do on a daily basis. Okay, so it is like, for example, if I am logging into my machine, I'll check my inbox and then I log out. It will take less than a minute. It doesn't need an automation. So like first they will analyze the process, which is taking more manual efforts. And if I invest on this, what amount of ROI I'll get out of it. So like first they will finalize or like jot down the application items, and then prioritize them, and then which needs more attention and which is the important business flow, they will target that application. So they will use their existing application. As I said, the project automation, the important point, it should not undergo any CR, not even the submit button. It should change from left to right, because that needs again a development effort and a testing effort to it. So no changes in your existing infrastructure needed, and as well as in the application. And they will document every step consistently. So in case of project automation, we have BRD, okay, business requirement documents, which they will say this process can be like this or it should be like this. So this process, this documents, what they say, we call it in RPA forms. Okay, we'll call it as process definition document. So this process is working like this, and this will undergo these many steps. So it will start with the login. So like once it login, it goes to the home page. So in the home page, like we need to enter these things, then select these items, then click on OK. It goes to next page. There you download a report and then manipulate the report and upload the report. That is the documentation which we need, or like which we take it as our process definition document. And what is your virtual employee? Don't think it is like an actual human. It's a bot. It's a machine. So it will be no physical body. So it will be like no physical robot will be there. So all will be in the cloud. Okay, we'll create machines in the cloud, bot machines, and then if needed, we'll just call for that particular process and then execute the process. And the most important item, as I said, is time to market within the few weeks. So like this process, since this process, it is already there in production and we know how it works, the overall functionality we know, whatever the issues we'll get all these years, okay, we'll just talk with the experienced people, get the exceptions, and like where and all we need to fix those exceptions. In case of issues here, who needs to get this email, who will fix these exceptions. So all these things will collect in the document step, and then we'll make sure we just move this bot within the less amount of weeks. So like we'll classify this RPA process into 3 complexities. So one is like simple, medium, and complex. So the simple process, it might take minimum 3 to 4 weeks of development effort, and it will be moved to production on the 5th week. That medium will take 4 to 6 weeks of development, and complex will take 6 to 8 weeks of development. The complexity, how we'll arrive at it, is based on the number of steps we have in the application and the calculation which we do with the application. If we have more calculation and if we need to go and traverse to more page and then get the data and then place it in the final part, so the more activities involved, so like we'll calculate the complexities based out of it. And the most importantly, what we need to know about when we start the RPA is what is RPA and like what is not RPA. Okay, process automation is a configuration that automate manual tasks. Okay, and like they are only virtual robots that integrate with existing software. Okay, they are a replication of our desktop application driven by simple rules. So like in case of if this happens, we have a workflow diagram will be there. So if it is yes, it should go here. If it is no, it should go here. So we'll have simple rules and business logic. So like don't think RPA is a humanoid robot, something that can entirely replace humans, that cannot be run. So even the RPA process, if we just move that to production, we need humans to monitor it. And in case of any issues, we need humans to fix it. And RPA is like just like what we say it will do. It cannot think on its own. For example, if I have a yes and no button in that screen, so like if I say you need to click on the yes for this action, it will go and click on yes. If it has got an additional button, yes, no, maybe, it will not go and treat the maybe button, because I directed or I designed the bot to use only the yes and no button. So any new button it will not take. So like it will not even think about the maybe button. So the RPA knows only this process has got yes and no buttons. So this is just purely another cost player. So like whatever the salary you're giving it to the humans, the same amount of money you need to spend to get this software, but over the years or over the runs, you will get the return on investment. So like I'll also show you the calculation on how will you do this thing, the return on investment calculation. And these are all the main steps for RPA. So like start with the proof of concept. So if it is like a small process, like log into an application, download an Excel, and then manipulate it. So like manipulate in the sense, do with the Excel macros, do some calculations, do some VLOOKUPs, or add a few columns, or delete few columns, or I have values in A, B, C, calculate that value and then put in C. Those are all small steps. In case of image automation or mainframe automation or like some other tedious process, we cannot do that directly, because first thing we need to know what that RPA tool is capable of, whether it can able to handle these type of processes, or like whether this tool which I am employing currently, this can able to read that OCR engine, or this can able to do the task with the OCR module. If not, that's of no use. So start with the proof of concept. So like do with the initial steps. So like then only you will come to know about the issues and the problems with the target application. So like I am working in this RPA, I am working in this Uipath for almost 4 years. I know the advantages and disadvantages, and like what can be done and what cannot be done, I know with the help of Uipath. But if it is a new project with the target application, I may not know how the target application behaves. So any process we'll get, first we'll do a POC. So that POC, it will be at a high level, not in detail. It will be at a high level, whether we can able to get the data from this page and pass the values from this page to this page, and whether we'll be able to print the summary if needed. And the best practice which we follow on the development process is, as and when we get the process for development, the first thing is we do it manually. Whatever it is, if it has got 15 steps, we log into the target application and then do the steps manually. Once we complete the steps manually, if we can able to reach the end point, then we'll start our development. Because if we start the development and we got stuck up at like 50 to 60% of it, and if we say no, then that impacts the credibility of the vendor. And if we say no after 50%, that will also cost more to the company who hired us for automation. So like first start with the proof of concept. If we can able to do the proof of concept successfully, show a demo to the customer, get the buy-in from the customer. If he says okay, go ahead, and like during the POC itself, I'll say these are all the places where I find issues. So like, these are all the places we cannot do that. So these are all the process we can take it without any issues. And this can be done with like limited amount of automation, not to an extensive code. Okay, and then identify the onboard evangelizers. So like identify the processes which we can able to do it. So the list of processes and use RPA tools and quick win delivery methodology. So to do this, we have around more than 10 RPA tools in market. Okay, we have like hope you have heard about few tools like Uipath, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, and then Win Automation, and then Workato, and Robocar, and then now it is Microsoft is coming up with a new tool called Power Automate that will be into the market for next 3 to 4 years. That like that Power Automate is like very easy compared to this Uipath. So this Uipath needs at least 20 to 30% of coding knowledge, and that Power Automate needs less than 10 to 15% of coding knowledge. That will be more of UI. So like anything, if you say it can be done. So the tools, so like identify the tools, the cost of the tools, whether the customer can able to bear the cost of the tool, and whether he'll be able to get benefit out of the automation. So those are all the things we need to see before we start automation. And track and reap benefits. So that's what I said. If I take this process, a simple process, log into the application, okay, read the inbox, okay, any red mail, I'll open it, I'll forward it to another person. This is of no use. This will not give you the ROI to the end customer. A process which has more steps and like more people working on it. If we target that application and if we can do that automation, if we can able to reduce the FTE in that, then that will give more benefits to the customer. And plan for sustainability. How long this process will go? So like if there is a process which is done with the legacy software. Okay, legacy software, I mean to say it's a Fox Pro or with the old like VB code, and that VB code, if they are planning to change with the latest technologies, or if they plan to change the VB code with Java, if you do the automation for like those process, that's of no use, because before you reach the ROI cycle, that process will be out of the organization. And also make sure we have the RPA practice established in the both vendor side and from the customer side. So the reason for saying it in the customer side, so our engagement with the customer, maybe till we identify the process and then complete the process. Once we complete and hand over the things, the support part needs to take in from the customer perspective. Any issues they need to handle. Otherwise, in the SOW, okay, we'll also write a contract. Okay, we'll be doing both the development and support. So like any questions so far? Are we all good? Shall I proceed? Okay. I'll take it as no questions. So like what are all the benefits of RPA? So I have already 15,000 loyal employees working in my company, and they are doing their job well. Why I need to go for RPA? Any specific reason or like any specific benefit I get? So one is the accuracy, extreme accuracy and like uniformity with zero errors. So humans tends to do errors, but with bots, first initially whatever you do, that will be done till you kill the bot, or till you delete the code, or till you disable the bot. So it will be as accurate as how it should be, and it will have low technical barrier. So like people will say low technical or no programming skills to configure bot, but like practically if you see, when you do some complex modules, you might need at least 15 to 20% that those like basic coding stuffs like how to manipulate with string functions. Okay, how will you remove the numeric part from a string functions? For example, if I have my email ID Bala 1402, how will you take only that 1402 out of that Bala 1402? So like those like basic functions you need to know. Basic extractions, basic functions, all these things you need to know. Like people might say, no programming skill, you can come and learn and do. Like what they will teach in the institute, it will be of no programming skill. But when you comes to the project, it may not be like that. Because like it might be like I'll have some 1,000 data in my Excel and I need to process it. So 1,000 times I cannot execute my job, correct? So I will execute my job once, and that process has to take the first transaction item, process it, move it to success, and then it should go to the next line item, take it, process it, take it, process it. This needs some looping concepts, right? That's what I said. Basic programming skills are the core Java or like the core .NET knowledge you should know. Now it is like they're also started integrating with Python. So I'll let you know on the future steps. So that core or a minimal coding skill you should know. So the compliance. Bots follow regulatory compliance rules to T and provide an audit trail history. So this complaint means we'll have the logs. Logs means at what time it starts, how many process, how many transactions it processed today, and out of 100 transactions, how many transactions got passed, and how many got failed, and how many transactions they have retried it for more than 2 to 3 times, and what is the output of it, and how many transactions failed to proceed due to exceptions. Exceptions will have 2-3 types of exceptions. One is the business exception. The business exception is, for example, if I want to start the process, so
Sir, one second.
so you able to hear me? I think like someone muted all. You guys can able to hear us, right? Hello?
Sir, you can please continue.
Uma Shankari madam?
Sir,
Or like Dileepan sir?
sir, is it
Can
audible
you able
to
to
you?
hear me, right?
Sir? Sir, you can please proceed, sir.
Hello?
Sir, you can proceed,
Renuka
sir.
Devi, I think you're trying to talk, but I cannot able to hear.
Sir? Sir, you can continue. Your audio, sir. Please continue.
Can you type in the chat box?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you. And the non-invasive technology. So it is like no disruption to the underlying legacy system. So like whatever you do with that process, it should not pamper or it should not harm the existing application. The target application, it should not be disturbed or like any changes to be done into it. And improved employee morale so that we can also educate the person whom we are going to move from this process to another process. So like they can move it to their interested department, or if they want to learn this RPA, they can also learn RPA and they can work out of it. So the productivity will be increased, I'd say. So like instead of you employ 50,000 employees to send the account statement to 1 lakh customers in 4 days, I can do that same job with the help of 100 bots in 1 day. So I can save 3 days out of it. I can do that in 1 day with like 50 or 100 bots doing the same. And the reliability, as I said, these bots, this will not take break, this will not take leave, this will not go out. So this will work 24/7 without any interruption. So the consistency also will be high. Okay. Next is the thing which I said, RPA++. So this RPA++ is the place where we include, for the process automation, we'll also include machine learning and analytics into it. So here we'll be using, instead of Java and .NET, we have started using Python and other machine language programs here. So with the actual RPA and like business management, we also have API orchestration plus like machine learning and analytics. So it is like we'll train the bot to do, in case of these scenarios, what needs to be done. So for example, in case this person searches for a shoe in Google, so the Facebook started posting the ads in his or her Facebook account on any discounts or any offer that related to shoes. That is like more of ML. So if we train the bot in such way, the next step in RPA is RPA++, which is more with the machine language and data analytics. So this is the implementation architecture or the high-level overview of this RPA. First, identify the process that are candidates of automation, set up a team, and agree on the implementation timelines. So this is what we'll do it in the statement of work process. So this statement of work is an agreement between the vendor and the customer. So the customer will choose as a vendor and he will say, for next 6 months, you will be automating this many number of process and hand it over to us before at the end of 6 months. For example, if they are starting a contract on February 1st, they will say at the end of July 30th, you need to deliver these many bots to us. So the next level will be the solution design. Agree on the adapted solution design. So then the vendor will start asking about the requirement study of the process which you are going to automate. So that requirement study, the DA will go through all the requirements and they will convert the requirement study video into a PDD document. That is called process definition document. That will have the complete steps about the process and they will define it from start to end. That's why we call it as process definition document. We'll write it and we'll get the sign off from the business user, and we'll do a solution design for this. So what will be the bot architecture and like how we'll plan to approach this process to complete the development of this. So from like the vendor end, they will share the PDD agreed PDD and STD to the customer for verification. Then we'll start building the automation workflows as per the agreed adapter solutions. So like in case of any issues we face during the development, so we'll say this process is on hold, so that we cannot able to move this due to these issues. So like we'll discuss in the call, and then we'll come to a solution, and then we'll try to complete this process within the stipulated timeline. Then we move it to the UAT. So like UAT, so like this process automation will not, it will also have a similar life cycle of normal development process, but in a different way. Okay, this will also have a definition document PDD and design document SDD, and the development will be done. And instead of doing testing by the own vendor associates in the normal development cycle, this testing will be done by the customer, the business user. They will do the application under test, so UAT. So they know how their process, so like whatever they do it manually, they know the steps and they know the output for these kind of inputs. So with their expertise, they will test this on UAT, and in case of any issues, they will share the defects, and then we'll fix it, and then we'll move it to production. Once this is moved to production, based on the SOW agreement, whether the customer itself is taking care of support or the vendor will take care of support. So like based on that, we'll transfer the knowledge to the customer team, and like they'll be taking it from like where we left in the production environment. So any issues or anything, they will just discuss with the business users and they will finalize it. So here, so like what kind of issues we can face during the development is, in the target application, they will not do any change with the existing functionality, but they might do a build deployment for like some other process which will have impact into this. For example, if I'm just clicking on the submit button, that will have a selector value. Okay, so like RPA items, they will actually grab the target text box or button with the selector values. So in case of any change in the selector values, it will fail again. So again, we need to go and fix these issues where it got failed. So either they might have done some changes in the class or in the table TD or TR, wherever it is possible, they might have done that. So like we need to be in touch with the customer when you'll have frequent deployment for this process. We need to get that schedule well ahead before we start the development. Based on that, we can plan accordingly. And next, industries heavily investing on RPA. It's like retail industry, finance, customer support, human relationship, and healthcare. So like one fine example I'll say is, for example, you have an XYZ insurance company. They will do all the insurance claims manually. Okay. So like they will manually get the documents, they will verify it. And in case of any issues, they will send it back to you. And then we'll again give the proper document. And then it will be completed and we'll get our reimbursement amount after 15 days. So this XYZ company do it all manually and it will take 15 days to process one request. Assume they are getting 20 requests daily. So all these 20 requests, they will get the reimbursement only after 15 to 20 days. Assume I automate or assume I automate this process. Okay. And I'll make sure my customer will get the reimbursement within 3 days. If the same thing is done by an ABC company, so that ABC company will get more customers, even from the XYZ existing customer. From like next year onwards, they'll start getting their insurance policy in the ABC customer because of the high turnaround time. So the turnaround time earlier, it was like widely used only in the software industry. Now that is asking, now like that is being used in all around the world. So the turnaround time, how quick you can able to fix this issue, how quick I can able to get my money back, how quick I can able to get my insurance. So like manual insurance take like 1 or 2 days. If it is in the automate mode, you will get it in 5 minutes. Okay, that is the power of this RPA. And like to the questions that are common across the globe, why this RPA is fastest growing enterprise software in the world? Any specific reason to it? So like one is the rapid and significant ROI. So ROI means, for example, to develop a process, I spend $1,000. Okay. Once it is completely developed, I remove 10 employees out of it. And I started using the bot. So once the bot started executing for test for the first 10 to 15 runs, that will not give my ROI, because that will match my amount which I spend to do the bot. From the 16th run onwards, I'll get my return on investment. Assume I spend $1,000 to do the bot development for the process. From the 16th run to the nth run, assume it is 1,000 run or is 2,000 run. From 16th run is my profit. So like I don't have to take care of my employee. I don't have to give regular hikes to my employee. So I don't have to do anything with the bot. Just I need to place one assistant who can monitor the bot. In case of any issues, he can fix that. So like instead of giving 20% salary, I can place only 1 or 2% into it, and I can run my show. Okay, that will be the ROI for it, and the minimal upfront investment. So that I already said. So the investment here will say is the purchasing of the tool, what we have identified, and the vendor who is quoting low to start this automation. So like they will do some bidding kind of stuffs. So like whoever is quoting low, they will go with the customer. They will go with the vendor, and like they will get benefit out of it. So like no disruption to the underlying system. So any target system which is already working, it should not be disturbed. It will work as is till the lifetime, but that process will be automated using the process automation. And low code build environment, this we already discussed, and scalable and enterprise ready. So the scalable and enterprise ready is the one which all the corporates and all the customers, they want to do it. Okay, how they can scale it to next level? For example, if I am receiving 1,000 line items to process, if I can able to process all the 1,000 line items in 5 hours, can I able to do that in 4 hours? Increase in productivity. Okay. So and modern RPA technology offers this scalability, unlike enterprise ready to platforms. So like because of all these reasons, RPA is the fastest growing enterprise in the software industry. Is RPA same as AI? So RPA is not artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence is not RPA. But the combination of these two, it will unlock massive possibilities everywhere. Okay, so the terms like natural language processing, which is used in the AI/ML, that we can do it with the help of RPA. So, as I said earlier, the OCR engine or the manually written invoice or like anything with the PDFs, which I have to read it, and then I need to read the PDF and I need to update the values in the PDF in the target application. All these things we can do it with the help of RPA and AI. So, for example, you say American Fidelity, okay, they use more AI and RPA to identify the fraud claims, and Aprio Healthcare to deliver better pregnancy outcomes. Okay, and like market research like Nielsen deploys intelligent RPA to aggregate the interpret global data. So interpreting the global data, it will be done only with the help of AI. So not this RPA can alone do that. This can be done only with the help of AI. So like these are all some of the tools, okay, which is there in the market. SAP, Blue Prism, NICE, Kofax, Uipath, Another Monday, Pega, Automation Anywhere. All this has got as their own advantages and like disadvantages. The recent one, which is there in the top, of the market is Uipath and Automation. So like Blue Prism is more robust, but it costs more, and also we have limited activities into it. Okay, same as like NICE, Kofax, we have things. But in case of RPA, like Uipath and Automation Anywhere, so they are just starting partnering with the firms, and they'll give the silver, gold, and like platinum membership to it. And like many projects which are already completed in other RPA process, for example, in NICE and Blue Prism, they have started migrating their process to Uipath and Automation Anywhere. So now like we'll see like one of the tools of the RPA. So this is called Uipath. Okay, so like go to the uipath.com. You can see something here like try Uipath free. So like click on it. You can able to download the software free for 60 days with almost 500 examples to be done. Along with this, they will also give a portal called Acme Portal that is also free of cost, where you can register there and you can start doing your own POCs into it. So this is like uipath.com, and here also we have another link called academy.uipath.com, where you can find the Uipath courses online. It will be, if you are a self-learner, if you don't need anyone to like teach, if you can learn on your own, so like go with the academy.uipath.com, start learning all the e-learnings, and you can start working on the 60-day trial. There are also other like online portals available like Edureka and like Udemy. There also we have the places where there also you have the courses for this Uipath. So like this Uipath has also got some certifications which starts from basic to developer, advanced developer, and orchestrator. There are many certifications into it. So the more certified you are, you'll have the more value into the market. Like this Uipath, you also have the portals for Automation Anywhere, portals for Blue Prism. Also, there are some upcoming few tools like Power Automate, and Workato, Robocar. Like so far, we have started engaging with Workato software, and like we are getting more projects in Workato. So like Power Automate, so like Microsoft is like building it. So like Microsoft is like clubbing with all the Microsoft things. For example, the Microsoft Outlook, Windows, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever it is, they're clubbing all their activities into it. So in this Uipath, there are some restrictions. You cannot able to access all the Microsoft products. But in Power Automate, you can do wonders with the Microsoft projects. Since like being is their own packaged project, so that they are giving it with more functionalities and like more usages. So like Power Apps and like Power Platform, they are on their way to hitting the software market. So the simplest one I'll say is, if you can go with the Uipath, the activity names also you can just, so with the name of the activity, you can able to relate it for what purpose this activity will be used. Or we also have a help file into it, which will give the activity details in detail and where it will be used with some examples also. And this is the basic Uipath architecture, okay, which has got client side and the server side, and also it has got 3 layers into it. So the top portion, it will have the interaction with the UI, and the end portion, sorry, the bottom portion, it will have it in the DB, and the middle portion will have the logic build. So the architecture can be classified into 2 parts. One is the client side and 3-layer detailing. So this client side will have the Uipath Studio, robot, browser, and like UI agent, which will target the destination application, and they will start scraping the values and they will store all these things. So this 3-layer detail client layer, this consists of the this consists of the task to be executed with the help of software logos. So the server layer will have the server access details, and the persistency layer will have the database details, where it needs to go and hit the database, save or retrieve values from the database. So these are all the 3 main components in Uipath. One is the Uipath Studio, and second one is the Uipath Orchestrator, and the third one is Robot. So this Uipath Orchestrator, it can also use API to reach out the third-party applications. Okay, so like now I'll explain you about all these 3 components. So the Studio is the one through which we can able to interact with the target application. So if I want to build an automation for my Gmail functionality or for my Acme portal, so to do that, I need to log in to the Acme portal. So I'll give the URL in the configuration Excel, and it will go and open the new browser, and the page will be loaded, and I'll start reading the username and password in the Acme portal and click on login. These things I'll do it. So this business things and all the UI interaction, I'll do it with the help of this Studio. This orchestrator is the place where I can place my jobs and schedule the jobs, and I can run the jobs. So I cannot run it manually for all the jobs which are running. So that is not the purpose of this automation. So the purpose will be defeated. So in production orchestrator, where we will deploy our package and we'll schedule it based on the customer needs. For example, customer says every Monday 9 a.m. US CST time, my process has to execute. So we'll schedule it every Monday 9 a.m. based out of US country with the CST timings, central zone timings. So this process has to execute. So without any human intervention, that process would start execute at 9 a.m. CST time. So if we have any other conditions, for example, if that Monday falls on a government holiday, then it should run on Tuesday. We need to handle all those things in the studio part, the development part. This will only deploy the process, give the robots, connect the robots with the machines, and execute the process and give output. That's it. Other than this orchestrator cannot do anything on its own. And like this is the robot. So by triggering this robot, this will go and start this orchestrator jobs. So these three are important. So I also have some branches, okay, called attended and unattended. What do you mean by this? So for example, I have a process in which I need to log in. Okay, go to a particular home page. Assume I log into a Salesforce application. Okay, click on one file menu and then click on reports. Select the reports. Enter the start date and end date, and then click on submit. The report will be generated. I'll download the report and I'll send it an email to my customer. So this does not need any human intervention. So once I start the bot, it will do everything on its own and it will send the output. But in case of attended automation, we have two things. One is unattended automation and the second one is attended automation. So this unattended automation, as I said, I don't need any human intervention. But in case of this attended automation, I need human intervention. Once the user confirms manually whether it is yes or no, or like proceed and stop, then only the bot will work. So in this RPA also, we can able to do attended and unattended automation. So like you cannot have all the process in the unattended mode. Few might need in the attended mode also, based on the type of industry we are automating it. Correct? Based on the type of so like this thing. So like this RPA, as I said earlier, it is not only for IT. Okay, they're doing it across all the industries. So based on that, they split it into attended and unattended automation. This Uipath can also do Citrix automation, desktop applications, web applications, SAP applications, mainframe, legacy applications, and more. As I said, Citrix automation, desktop application is, for example, the calculator is a desktop application. We can able to automate it. This web application is kind of a Gmail or like any other target application. SAP, okay, you all know about the SAP. So the problem or the issues we face with the SAP is time and then again there will be change in the selector. So we need to be more careful on that by selecting the proper selector. And mainframe applications, other legacy applications. So these legacy applications, when we choose for automation, we need to make sure this will be there for at least another 3-4 years, and this will not be replaced with any of the new technology applications. Otherwise, it's of no use in automating those kind of applications. Okay, and this is our orchestrator. This is something old, like 2019 orchestrator. Now we have latest orchestrator 2020 and 21. Those have clouds into it. So like since I have access to this 19% automation, I have taken a screenshot of it. So like if you want to know about the latest orchestrator, you can go and download the free Uipath for 60-day trial. Then you can see all those things. It will all be the same. So like here, all these menus it's here. In 2020 and 21, all these will be here. Here it is vertical, there it will be horizontal. That's it. So this orchestrator is the place, as I said earlier here, this is the place where we will place our bots under these jobs. Okay, and we'll schedule all these jobs under this scheduling process, and we employ more robots. So like first process it, I'll start creating more robots into it, and I'll map this to my machines. Okay, I'll map this to my machines, and these are all the process where we'll deploy, and like these are all the jobs where we'll schedule it. Okay, click on the jobs, do a right click run, it will start executing the job. And this assets and queues. So assets is the place where so this normal question they'll start no, where you will start placing your login credentials or like some other credentials. You cannot have it in your code or it in your configuration Excel that can be easily hacked by others. Instead, if you place this in assets, okay, there it will be secured and only this orchestrator can able to access it. Queues is something a kind of a concept. It can handle high volumes of data. For example, if I have an Excel with 10,000 rows into it, if for example, I have company details in that Excel where I have 10,000 employee details, okay, their name, age, date of birth, okay, salary, HRA, and other allowances. I want to calculate the salary based on that. So if I do it manually or if I do it with one single bot, this will take more time. If I do it with the queue stuff, there this bot will be divided into two. One is the dispatcher and next is the performer. So this dispatcher is the one which will have this queue concept. This will take all the 10,000 data from the Excel into the queue and store into it. And once this performer start accessing the application, this employee ID from this queue, this will be taken into the performer and this will go and hit the application. So once I'm running this performer, I can deploy more free bots into it. There I said, right, I'll create more bots here with the more machines. So if I have 10 bots into it, all 10 bots are free. I'll connect these 10 bots with this process. So at a time, this queue can able to process 10 records at a time. Or if I have 50 bots, it can process 50 records at a time. Once that is completed, the bot will automatically come and take the next process, which is on open status. So once the bot start picking the queue, the status of that queue line item, it will be changed to open to in progress. So the next bot, when it comes, it will not go for the in progress line item. It will go only for the open line item. So like this, I can able to do large volume of data within a short span of time with the help of this queue concept. And this also has got a dashboard, like how many processes I have executed, how many assets I have, how many queues it is there, and how many processes it got scheduled, and how many jobs it got run. For that, how many bots I used. Okay, and this is our typical Uipath screen. Okay, so this is our typical Uipath screen. When you click on a new project, this top pane, we'll call it as ribbon. Okay, where we'll have the new, save, run, recording. In the sense, we can do few process recordings, for example, web recording, desktop recording, that can be do it in a small scale. And there is something called as screen scraping and data scraping. The screen scraping is something, I'll show an example for this screen scraping that we'll have it in the video. And next one is the data scraping, which can be taken for all unstructured data. This screen scraping can be done with the structured data. If you have any unstructured data, you can use this data scraping. We also have user events. Okay, we can able to create variables. This manage variables is the place. For example, you create 10 variables, out of which you use only 8. The rest of the 2, it's of no use, and you forgot to delete it, no worry. Click on this manage variables, remove unused variables option will be there. Go and click on it. You can remove the unused variables. This launch UI Explorer, this is the another way to get the selector. For example, okay, I'll tell you the example where I can take a selector there. Okay, and this is the activities pane here. These are all the list of activities which is available in the Uipath, through which I can able to automate my process or develop code for the target application and execute this. So there are close to 400 to 500 activities available here. Okay, and this bottom pane is where we can, this shows the variables, what and all we have stored, those things will be here, and the arguments were stored. And this right side is the one, is the property panel. So if I add any activities here, what are all the properties there? For example, if I take that, type into property from here, and I can place it here, it will show the what are all the options for the type into. So if I can type after 20 seconds, it will wait for 20 seconds and then it will type. Okay, those are all the properties. Or in case of any errors, still I can continue with the process. So that is called error on continue. If we give error on continue, yes, any error also, the bot will move to the next step automatically, and it will start processing. And this place, right? This is the main workplace where we'll design our automation. And these individual tabs, right? We'll call it as XAMLs, XAML. So with the individual XAMLs, okay, we code our requirements, and then we package it, and then we'll send it to orchestrator. Okay. So this is the RE framework we use in our Uipath. RE framework means Robotic Enterprise Framework. Okay. We have 3 types of flows in Uipath. Okay. One is the sequence flow. That sequence flow is a straightforward flow that does not have any like complex calculations or any branching conditions is there. For example, log into Gmail, enter user ID and password, go to your inbox, read your unread email. This is a simple process. Next is a flowchart. So like flowchart is like where I have my branching and decision statements. Okay. For example, I log into the same Gmail. If I log in correctly, yes, it will go to inbox. In case of error, it will throw an invalid credential and the bot will exit gracefully out of it. And the third one is the state machine, where we use this RE framework. State machine, we use it only for complex processes. So the complex processes means that involves more calculations, more pages to traverse, or more activities involved in this. So there, what we need to do, first we'll initiate. So in this we have 4 states: init state, get transaction, process transaction, and end state. So this init state is the one where we'll read the configuration items and we'll make sure if we need to launch an application from the browser, those all will be done with the help of this init state. And this transaction state is the one where we'll start getting the transaction. If you want to download any data or if you want to read it from the queue, all these things will be done in the transaction state. Any business logics or any calculations or any email to be sent, those business flows will be done in the process transaction state. this end process, once like we complete all the three, then it comes to the end state. In between you can see few arrows like business rule, success, fail, and all those and all. In case of any system error or like business exception, it will just go to the next nearby state and it will wait there. Okay, so this is my sample application. So like which I'm going to show how the bot will be executed. Okay. So I clicked on the bot. Now the bot started executing it. Okay. So okay. So this email, password, and login, forget password, register. If I want to make sure the value which I type for this email, it should go into this email. The value which I type for password, it should go into this password. So the click button which I do, it should click on this login. This all these things will be done with the help of a selector. Okay. When I select this email, one selector will be generated. So I need to validate it, whether it's a proper selector, whether it will be changed. So the selector has got few values like table name or class or IDX. So table name and class you can select. Those IDX and CSS you should not select, because the IDX is a number. For each and every run, it will keep on changing it. And that class is a CSS class. Anytime they may change the code. So it is always better to rely on the solid selector. Okay. So since we did that, so this is it. So now it will go and enter the email, password, and then click on login. It will go to this Acme application, and then I click on logout, and I exit from the application. This is a simple example for your sequence process. Okay, I didn't do anything. This doesn't have much like complex scenarios or like much like branching conditions, ifs and buts, or if else, or like do while. So nothing involved into it. So I log into it, and then I go to the home page, click on the work items, see the menu, and then log in. And this is the next example, which will also do the similar login. Okay, it will log into this place, then enter password, click on exception. Sorry, click on login. It will go to the home page, click on work items, and this place, right? So like this place where I will use the data scrapping. If I want to read this data, place in the Excel, I'll do data scrapping. If this data flows on multiple pages, there also I can use the page navigation with the help of data scrapping. So now I read all these things. I open an Excel. I'll place that Excel. I save that Excel, and the bot gracefully executes. So the output of the previous automation, it is here. So these are all the work items placed in the Acme portal with the work order ID and the description for this, type, status, and the date of it. So this like 10 line items or like 11 items, which I scrapped from the target application. From the Acme portal. Okay. And these are all the benefits and advantages of RPA. This will boost productivity across the board. As I said, this will boost productivity across the board, as well as your ROI if you started receiving the profit out of it. So it boosts productivity in the sense manually, for example, to do this ROI, you need, yes, any questions? I see like 2 people raise their hands. Any questions? I'm not able to hear, madam. Sorry.
Nothing, sir. You can proceed. I think it's going to be 11.
Proceed?
So yeah, you can proceed, but we are running out of time, sir. Just a reminder. Yeah. You can. You please proceed, sir. Am I audible, sir? Could you able to hear me?
Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, am I audible, sir? Could you able to hear me?
So this ROI involves the benefit which I get out of this process automation, and also I reduce the manual effort out of it. So instead of 1,000 people working on that process, now 400 people is working on that process, and the rest of it I'm doing it with my bot. So like down the lane, I'll reduce that 400 also into 100, and I'll place only the bot monitors instead of the persons who are doing it manually. To do this ROI calculation, we need to have the manual metrics plus automation metrics. So manual metrics, we need to take the average handling time for a person to complete one transaction in that module. Assume I am taking 18 minutes to complete one transaction in one process. So on a peak time, 1,000 people were involved into it, and they all spend 18 minutes to complete one transaction. If they have 1 lakh transaction, you can calculate the number of minutes to complete the process. And after I deploy the bot in production, I'll start calculating the metrics for each run. For each run, how many records it processed and how many minutes the bot got executed. So when it started and when it ended, we have the log, right? So from the bot start to bot end, they will calculate the timings. So like for example, after the bot deployed, it start processing the same 100 records in 20 minutes. So that is the saving for the customer. So their immediate saving or their immediate ROI, you will not get it in one run. Over the runs, you will get it. Maybe after 15-20 runs, whatever you spend and like whatever you get, it will become zero. So from the 16th run, it will be your profit. For example, I spent $1,000 for this execution, for this process automation. And after 15th run, I'll get saving as my $1,000. So the spend which I did for this process $1,000 and the amount which I saved because of executing this process, that becomes nullified. So from the 16th run, I'll get my $1,000 as my profit. That is my return on investment. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That $5,000 is my savings. Understood? So like the advantages of RPA is got low coding and it does not need any deep programming skills, and it is user friendly and easy to use. Okay. The disadvantages, I'll say, the bot is limited to the speed of the application. It cannot work more than the speed of the application, and like any small change that needs a change in the bot. So like this is the growth of the RPA market in the world. So it started sometime in 2015-16. From there on, see the growth. Now it is $2,700. It will be in 2023. So the average rate is almost 29 to 30% high in the market. And like this attended watch and unattended watch, I've already covered in my previous things. Okay. And like these are all the manual metrics which I said, the AHT and the BHT. With this, we'll be able to calculate the ROI. And this is the exact ROI calculation. The number of processes is 2. Each process has X hours saved, 1. And the number of processes runs in a week, 10. Total hours saved in a year is 1040. And cost per hour is 50. So 50 into 1040 is $52,000. So like these type of calculation, they will do it there. So this comes to an end of this session. Any questions? Madam, I think you can just open the audio to others so that they can start asking questions. Any questions? Ma'am, I cannot able to hear.
Sir, could you able to hear my voice?
Not able to hear.
Am I audible now? Is it audible to you? It is very clear only, sir. Audience, if you have any questions, you can post the questions in the chat box. Audience, if you have any questions, you can.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Like someone is talking and you're not able to hear.
Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me?
Sir, I think everybody is telling my audio is clear. Could you please check the audio from your end? Sir, could you please check your audio at the end? I think everybody is telling my audio is clear.
Can somebody hear me what I'm telling? Hello, am I audible? No.
Yes, sir. Balaji, sir.
Okay,
Is there any questions from the audience end? You can post a
If you have
question.
any questions, can you please type in the chat box so that if I can able to answer it, I will do that. Otherwise, take it and then I'll give my answers later.
Okay, if there is no question from the audience side, I think there was a question. IoT in RPA.
Kim, I think you can just unmute yourself and you can talk if you want to discuss anything. Kirtana, can you please speak louder? Not sure why I am not able to hear anything out of it. During the start of the session, I can able to hear. Now there was some problem. Not sure what is that.
Okay, now I invite Assistant Professor Dr. Rpa Christopher to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning to all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. First of all, start by giving my gratitude to the Almighty God for making today's session a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank our guest, Mr. M. Balaji, Project Manager and Engagement Delivery Lead, Cognizant Technology Solutions, Chennai, for spending his valuable time amid us today. I express my sincere gratitude to the management for providing opportunity to conduct this virtual PDP program, and I thank our management for being a strong pillar of support in all our endeavors. My heartfelt thanks to our Dean, College of Science and Humanities, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Ramapuram, Vice Principal, Academics, Vice Principal Admin, and our Head of the Department of MCA for their never-ending guidance and support. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the resource persons of the various technical sessions and the delegates of the enthusiastic participation in this professional development program. I acknowledge the unwavering support received from the faculty members and non-teaching staff. My sincere thanks to all the participants from various colleges overwhelming response. My special thanks to our young and dynamic students of MCA and BCA Data Science for their contribution. We assure the sessions ahead will be more beneficial and informative to all of us. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. I can drop off, right, madam?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. You can drop off, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.